All right. Hello, all you beautiful creative beings out there in the world. It is me, Dank Fart, the pirate poet. Fart is spelled P-H-A-R-T, is an acronym for pretty hot and reasonably talented. I'm doing a series of interviews for my project, the P.O.E.M, Peace on Earth movement. That is a social media challenge campaign where you make peace on Earth by drawing a peace sign on the Earth, thus making peace on Earth. And then you film yourself and challenge a friend, and we get a massive wave of creativity and love being seeded into the planet, making peace on Earth. These interviews are about ideas, stories, concepts about how we can take what is potentially seeming an impractical idea of making peace on Earth by drawing a simple peace sign on the Earth, and how we can actually do things and take steps to actually activate and creating a new society and culture that is integrated at all levels and where we can all thrive together. I am here with Rennie Davis and Kirsten Liegmann of the Foundation for Humanity. It's a great honor to be here with you all. Can you give us a little bit about what you do and your backgrounds?
Yeah. Hey, Matt. It's so great to be with you. Thanks for inviting us for this. This is a fun little project. I'll have to go out and draw my peace sign and do my little
Wonderful.
filming. I promised I would do that. Yeah, so my name is Kirsten Liegmann, and I am one of the co-founders of the Foundation for Humanity with my husband here, Rennie Davis. And, you know, we've really been just looking at what time are we living in right now? What is humanity really facing right now? And what is the choice point that we have right now? And I think this time right now, we are being all faced with a choice, and we have to get off the fence. Do we continue doing what we've been doing up till now and literally degrading the very system upon which we depend? Or do we make a choice to go a different direction? And so what we do is we look at what is that different direction that we can choose, and what does that require? And for us, it's about making a conscious evolutionary leap. You know, like Einstein said, we can't solve our problems with the same level of thinking that we were in when we created them. But in order to create a different thinking, we have to have a different stage of awareness. And so a lot of what we do is around that. And then creating a new nation on Earth from that new level of thinking. A little BHAG there. You want to add something to that?
I don't know. When I go out to put the peace sign on the Earth, I think symbols like that are good. I really do. But for me personally, I'm going to basically put it on myself. The thing is that I came out of the 60s, and I was the coordinator of the largest anti-war and civil rights coalition of that time. I was in a famous trial called the Chicago 7. And everywhere I went, speaking to students, basically, you know, I mean, a small turnout was 5,000 people. When the governor would call out the National Guard because I was speaking, I was in a stadium. But what we all shared in common was we believed that we had to change them. If we could just change the person over there, he's the problem. The political party, the president, the institution. We're going to change him, them, point the finger, you know. I think that one of the things that's occurred since the 60s is a realization that we actually have to change ourselves deeply and profoundly. And it is not easy to do. It is really so much easier to basically see the problem as him, them, point the finger, blame game, you know, the idea that what we fundamentally have to do is to basically step into a new stage of awareness and fundamentally change our own stage of awareness, check our own egos, and realize that there really is an unconditional state of being, and the journey of evolution is way still in front of us. into places that we've not even dreamed or imagined. I mean, it's so amazing to me, you know, people, well, you know, I'm going to ascend in this lifetime, you know, I mean, I'm just, you know, enlightenment
I'm
is just,
about enlightened.
yeah, enlightenment is just around the corner, whatever
Yeah,
that
I grew up
means,
with a
you
lot of
know.
those people.
You know, what we've discovered is actually there's stages of awareness, and the first stage is just to wake up. And currently, if you took an average of all human beings on the planet, we're between 5 to 6% awake at the present time, which just simply means that humanity is mostly living in its brain. It's not here. We're somewhere else in our thoughts. And as long as we're in our brain thinking about he did it, she did it, judging, pointing the finger, we're basically in that 5 to 6% awake stage ourselves. It's sobering to think about it. I mean, it really is, you know. So our journey is basically to first of all wake up ourself, you know, and that for us has a specific meaning. It's not like some new age spiritual practice that we all sit around and meditate, or even put peace signs all over the place. We have to, I mean, it's a beautiful concept, but what I'm trying to say is that there needs to be real substance behind that word peace. You know, we need to really, we don't even know quite what it means, you know. I mean, peace to me would be no thinking. Here's a thing for people that might be watching this. Just while we're talking, stop thinking for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. That's not very long. 1 minute is 60 seconds. 1, 2, 3, you know, and so there's no thought at all. You're just completely 100% present. I mean, it's a little sobering, but it will give you a quick indication that basically a new stage of awareness, where basically you're really tuned into knowingness instead of thinking, is really, I mean, it's a desirable thing to put peace signs all over the world, but to put them on yourself by no thinking for 3 minutes would be such a milestone for a movement to change the world.
Yeah, I can dig it. And yeah, I grew up around a lot TM and with transcendental meditation a lot, and talking what you guys are talking about state of consciousness and how it reflects to the world, and that the only way to really create the reality that we want isn't by changing them, it's through changing our consciousness, which will then relate to the systems. And the way you were talking about us being only 5 to 6% awake and really being in the brain, which it's not the mind, the brain, and that's reflective of our governments, and it's got clearly working. The federal government is essentially the brain, and everybody's thinking that this brain's running around being able to organize all these different things. And I feel like it really relates to what you were just talking about, how state of consciousness reflects the outer state of reality.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think that let's just look at the present time. You know, we're not into doom and gloom at all, and we join with every human being on earth that wants to inspire hope, that believes that the pandemic is going to end, you know, in just a few more weeks. We'll all come back to normal, and everything will be hunky-dory again, you know. And so we are, you know, we cheer it on. We really do. At the same time, we have our knowingness, our internal world, that is basically saying, no, this is not really like another time. And you know, this is really a time like no other. You know, we're not just another generation passing through the world like every previous generation in human history. This is a time like no other. And so we're going to see difficulty. You know, if you're basically cruising down a road and you kind of come to some bumps in the road, you know, and you're coming at pretty good speed, it's pretty jarring. It really is. And you can sit there and hope that, yeah, it'll all kind of smooth out here in a few minutes. But what we see is not more bumps in the road. We see potholes. You know, potholes are coming that are going to basically cause the human race to come to a full stop. And basically,
probably some bridges out.
Say that again?
I said there's probably even some bridges out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're just seeing
Cracks in the earth.
we're just seeing a time where basically, I mean, the fundamental force in the world actually is the inability of the human race to balance itself. And it's become a species that's out of balance with the earth. And so now the earth, in its own nature, which is the balance, is going to rebalance. It's pretty simple. It really is. And so it's not to go into fear about it. It's just to say everybody's getting to choose. You can choose to evolve. You can choose to support the earth agenda to rebalance. Or you can basically go into your fear and your depression and your worry and your stress and you know, your blame game and, you know, he did it and she did it and just turn on everybody. You know, you can join the world of hysteria that's coming, or basically you can create a reality inside yourself that's just absolutely beautiful. You know, you can navigate this time with ease and grace. You can always be at the right place at the right time. You know, when the volcanoes go off and the earthquakes come and the weather changes and eventually the warming up just turns into a cooling down and the question is, will there be any human being left on the planet through this time of rebalance? And the answer is yes, there really will. We are creating the future of the human race. That's who we are. But we are a new humanity. So if you want to know where do things begin, as I go out and put my peace sign on myself, okay, I'm going to basically make a declaration of a new humanity in myself. Okay, so it's all about changing me. You know, the world, everybody gets to choose right now, and the law of free will is a law in this world. And so we're at a crossroads of evolution. If you look around, everybody's choosing. Some are going to choose, you know, to basically continue to hold on to their blame game and to their 5% awake. And there's nothing wrong with that in the eyes of evolution. But others are going to choose to evolve. Others are going to choose a new stage of being. Others are going to create a new way of living on the planet. Others are basically going to introduce for the first time the dream of Nikola Tesla, free energy, you know, the ability to basically have technologies that align with the intelligence of nature. We're going to create something where we have full employment, everybody's collaborating and respecting. And that's only possible not by all sitting around and trying to argue who's right and who's wrong. It requires that we put that peace sign on ourselves and change ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally, say that again?
I said 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really standing in front of a field of possibilities right now. And, you know, there is a portal there. And the question is, what direction will we choose? Will we step onto the field of possibilities that says, yes, we are so at the beginning of this journey of humanity, step into humility about that, and then step onto that field and say, okay, what does it mean then to mature, to wake up, to not be in our brains all the time, and to really step into that new humanity, that potential of that, you know, and come back into alignment with the intelligence of nature. That's the thing. We're out of balance. We are a species out of balance with the intelligence of nature. And it's been the arrogance of humanity to believe that somehow we're not affected or part of this system called Gaia, and we are. And we are going to be balanced, you know, one way or another. And so the question is, how much of that will we choose ourselves? How will we choose to walk that path?
So if I wanted to walk that path, you know, what I would do is probably, you know, sneak into your clothes closet and steal your shirt, you know, and put that on myself, because, you know, what I'm trying to figure out how to put peace on myself. That shirt is perfect. I mean, that would be. So in other words, instead of basically trying to figure everything out with our brain, which has been the tool that we've had, I'm not critical of the brain. I'm just saying that when you quiet the brain and no thinking for 3 minutes, no kidding, really, just right here, totally present, lo and behold, what happens is that you develop an intuition. You develop the intuitive capacity for knowingness. Knowingness that sees around corners. You always are in the right place at the right time. You always trust the flow. You are completely able to be and sense and see. And you turn on your 14 senses, not 5. So human beings know we have 5 senses, but we don't know that we have sonar located in the hair follicles of our ear. We don't know that we have radar located in the forehead. We don't know that we have 14 senses, 9 of which are these telepathic, intuitive, knowingness. Exactly.
Intuit.
Intuit.
That's what we're talking about. I'm talking about yearning for your T-shirt. I think that really says it all right there. You know, that's the future of humanity, is to basically develop a wisdom that can see and sense everything, all the factors. So, you know, you don't just go onto land and basically strip it bare and cut down all the trees and start building a repetitious housing development that basically builds up malls. I mean, the whole way that we build, the whole way that we live, it's kind of everything that we do needs to be reprogrammed. We just need to start all over again. We need a new beginning from A to Z, you know. So I salute everybody that wants to basically go into politics, change them, change the government and so forth, you know, but I think that when you basically have 1% of the human race basically owning 80% of the wealth, you've created a social fabric that cannot endure when it basically minimalizes the role of civic responsibility and the role of mutual obligations, where everybody's for themselves, everybody's for ego, you know, what's in it for me, you know, it's just back to 5% awake. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with an early immature stage of awareness. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that this is a moment when the human race has an opportunity to choose to evolve. So we choose a journey to evolve. That's all. And everybody that wants to join in is welcome to come along.
Beautiful. I absolutely love it. And so this is all, that's what the mission of the Foundation for Humanity is?
Well, basically, our mission is to find, ignite, activate, train the new humanity. I mean, and it's really the new humanity are those that are understanding that we are at the beginning of this journey, and that our mission in this lifetime is to wake up 100%, and understanding what that actually means, and then taking that every single step of awakening and melding it into how we live on Earth, and changing how we live on Earth, and understanding how to reintegrate with the Earth and align with the intelligence of nature. But that's what we do, is we know there is a significant number of humans on Earth right now that understand what we're saying, that are longing for it, that have felt that heart draw, that desire for something that they couldn't quite put their fingers on, and this is what we're calling those. We're putting a homing beacon out for everyone in who we call the new humanity. And this is not about a new religion. This is not a new spirituality. This is not a belief system that says, okay, here's now how you have to think and feel and do. No, this is about a path of individuation, understanding we're not separate from anything. and what it means. What are the foundational elements of waking up? What are the universal principles that can guide that process of waking up, so that we can actually make this journey not in the molasses way that humanity has been evolving. It's a very, 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 very slow process of evolution in humanity. But now we have this ability to stand on these universal principles and understandings and actually make a leap of life that is profound and amazing and inspiring, and will change the trajectory of where humanity goes if we make this choice.
So these could almost be described as foundational scientific principles that will allow us to fully embody our true potential. Like universal principles, so kind of be like in another language could be scientific principles.
I would say so. Yeah, we could
self-regulating and feedback loop that proves accurate.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good way to understand the scientific process. Basically, as opposed to a leap of faith. Here, what we have, if we reduce the science of a new stage of being to 13 principles. And so we actually have a system where we put the principles on a card, and we shuffle the card and let our body intelligence pick a card for the day. And so then we pick a card, and we get, say we get the first principle is better than you could ever imagine. So we then read a one-page write-up. And the write-up is things that we've heard before, but it's said in a way that is also deeper and profound. I mean, it essentially is saying that no one's doing anything to you. No one's ever done anything to you. Every single experience that you have is something that you've drawn to yourself from the 50,000 thoughts that you have today. And so this whole world is not an objective outside event like our science has tended to believe, and certainly all human beings have believed. It's actually a psychological construct whose origin is ourself. So everything that we're seeing is coming from how we think. And you say, well, I didn't think that. Well, really? If you basically made a list today of how many thoughts you had and wrote them down on a piece of paper, if you could write down 100 thoughts that you had today, I mean, really pat yourself on the back. That is pretty impressive. So how aware are you? You were back to 5% awake again. How aware are you really? Okay. All right. Well, 100 is numerator, and 50,000, that's the number of thoughts you actually had, is the denominator. That's how aware you are of the power of your own thoughts, creating every single detail down to the tiniest everything inside you that you draw to yourself. So all that's contained in principle number 1, and now there's 12 more just like that. Okay, so we like that. We think that if we want to basically have, feedback loop evidence that of what we're talking about, all you got to do is just work the 13 principles for a while, and you get your own evidence that it's really, you are creating your own world. I'll tell you another thing that I like besides the t-shirt, okay, which is good. Another thing to basically stamp that peace thing right on yourself, okay? We've made an incredible discovery. And we think that this is one of the most significant discoveries of all time. Every energy in the world seems like it can be compressed with thought into density. So you take a beautiful thought like joy and you just compress it, well, that's not true. Well, wait a minute, what about that? And you just beat it to death, and you think about it, and you worry about it, and you stress over it. Pretty soon you've taken something beautiful like joy and energy of joy, and you compress it into the density of fear. And that's how it works, okay? So all energy can be compressed. E equals mc square would be the science of what I'm talking about. Well, it turns out Einstein didn't have it completely correct. There is one energy in creation that cannot be compressed into the density of fear. It doesn't exist in our galaxy, but we discovered that traveling with our mind, we can go out of the galaxy and stand before what we call a central sun. It's not quite like our solar sun. It's really spectacular, beautiful. Like a diamond planet is what it looks like. But anyway, it radiates an energy, and we've been able to capture that energy and bring it into a recording, through a very sophisticated audio recording technology on Earth. And so now we have I don't know if I'm going to say it's better than the T-shirt, but it's really pretty good, I mean, it's a meditation that essentially can balance the fear of the planet. And what we're doing is we're sending it to the equator, where we've created a circle around the planet. It's 25 miles in width. It's just below the stratosphere. That's the outer layer of the atmosphere. And it circles the whole planet. And we're inviting people to basically join in and send that energy to the equator and help protect the balance of life during this time of intense fear, hysteria, and oh my God. And so, but the main thing is that what it does for you, it erases emotional debris in you. I mean, if you've ever had a childhood abuse, was really kind of rough, in the early days and stuff like that, and can't get at this thing. This is an energy. You just let it flow through you, and the energy itself will dissolve the childhood abuse and all emotional debris over time. It takes time, but it's the lightest thing in existence. So it's very subtle, but it's really beautiful. And Kirsten is now going to tell you exactly how to get this meditation right now, today, and check it out for yourself. What?
It's great.
Yeah, you go to ffh.org, so foundationforhumanity.org/vote hope 2020. And that's where you can then find the meditation. It's free, and we do monthly webinars. In fact, the next one is coming up this Wednesday on Earth Day, and we're gonna have our monthly hope meditation focused on the Earth. So here is an idea for you. What if you did the meditation, which means your body records that frequency? You now have that frequency in your body. Your body is the most sophisticated recording equipment ever, and it can record that frequency. So now you have it in your body. Now you draw your peace symbol on the Earth, and now you infuse that peace symbol with the energy of electrical life in its purest form to help dissolve the fear and the anger and the emotional debris that humanity has been polluting the Earth with for so long now. I mean, if we're talking scale of pollution, fear is one of the biggest pollutants to the Earth from the Earth's perspective. It's clogging up all of her cells, and it's making it difficult for her. So this energy is life, as Rennie said, dissolves emotional debris. So how about not just putting peace on Earth? How about putting peace for the Earth? Actually giving her what she really needs is relief from the fear of humanity and from the emotional debris of humanity.
Yeah, I think everything she just said, you should just package it up and basically just play that every single time you talk about putting the peace symbol on the Earth. There is the way to do it right there. That is really so cool.
And that's definitely always been my intention. I don't know if I've been super clear with it, but that people build themselves up with a positive emotional state inside, and then when you're putting your peace sign down on the Earth, that is part of the intention, is that you are putting that. That's why it's called the seed bomb of love, is because it's like an energetic seed bomb that you're putting. Probably bomb's probably not the best word. But
When you take Fukushima, I mean, he calls them seed bombs, so why not? You know?
yeah, if I don't know Fukushima, Fukushima was the Japan generator or radioactive.
No. Yeah, the guy who does the seed bombs.
Yeah, totally. That's where the idea of seed bomb came from. Is that where you put them around in wildflowers and whatever you seed the seed bomb with goes and seeds the planet.
Yeah.
You know, the thing we're adding here, and it's not a criticism in any way. I mean, we really mean it when we say the idea that you've suggested is beautiful. It really is. It's just that we're at 5% awake. And so when we go and put our peace symbol on the earth, and we're the ones doing it, so I'm going to put my peace bomb in here, you know, and really, you know, the thing is what about those 45,000 thoughts that you're not even aware of as you do it? That's the problem. So that what I'm saying is that we're just an immature early stage of awareness. And so to basically put an energy that removes the fear from the soil, the water, and the atmosphere of the planet is really, you need to have some know-how. Yeah, I mean, it's not just, you can't just say, hey, go do it. It's just not gonna be really that effective, you know. But with this meditation, with this frequency, it suddenly gives you a know-how that is so profound, new to the world. It's never been here before. It's not like anything that anybody has ever done. It's not found in any tradition, any religion, any spiritual practice. It's a brand new day. And it works. And you get your own evidence if it works or it doesn't work based on how you experience it. I mean, see for yourself, you know, check it out. That's all we're saying.
This is where that notion of spiritual humility comes back in, you know, where we step back and say, you know, we've gotten to this point, and, you know, pat ourselves on the back for how far we've really come. And the fact that we're even 5% awake, that is a miracle in and of itself when you understand the full story. But then to say, but there's so much we haven't experienced yet, and there's so much we don't know yet, and here is something that is brand new to humanity, and to really give it a try, and as Rennie said, get your own evidence. When you want science, get your own evidence. Be your own scientist with everything that we do, with everything. We don't take our word for it. Try it. Give it a fair shot, you know, and try it.
Yeah, I've done the meditation a fair amount, and it's good. My brother, who's definitely very energetically sensitive, it's just the first few times it just blew him wide open. Yeah, it's definitely really powerful stuff. So it's the Vote for Hope meditation, and you can find it on the Future for Humanity website,
Foundation for Humanity, ffh.org/Vote Hope 2020. Let me just make a little clarification. Originally, we were going to try to do this on Election Day, but people haven't been able to step out of the belief that this is a political action. It is not. And so we have done a little adjustment. We're now calling it the Hope 1111 Project. And it's going to be on November 11th, because people love 11. You know, it's my own all is well number. I know there's a lot of attachment to 11, but it makes people happy. So, you know, it is and so we're tying it to that. So it's going to be on 11/11 at 11/11 Mountain Time. We're going to do this meditation together, and we're calling for 1 million people to join us to put this frequency into this band of life that is circling the earth. Now, the reason why we're starting so early, and the reason why we're giving so much time between now and when we want to do the big main meditation, is because the body needs to get used to those frequencies. You just said your brother did it, and it just totally blew him out. Our nervous systems are not conditioned to take that kind of frequency, and so we have all kinds of things, you know, jumpiness and acupressure points, you know, firing and itching and, you know, all kinds of things. That's because the frequencies are so high that the body is not used to them yet. And so we need to condition the body to open up the nervous system, to allow the frequency to flow, and to be able to hold it, to practice quieting our brains, so that we have these 6 months to do that, so that more of us, then when that moment comes where we all do it together, can actually supercharge this thing. And we can change the outcome with this action. And so we invite all of you to get the meditation, do it regularly, come to our monthly free webinars where we do the meditation together.
What are some final words that you have for our viewers and this journey, this great, amazing, beautiful journey that we have ahead of us?
Words of wisdom. He's asking for final words of wisdom.
The most important thing to realize is that you have a choice. That we get depressed, we get stressed out, we get worried, and we forget that fear is a choice, stress is a choice. You know, once you understand that you can walk out of despair, depression, fear, worry, you know, really in 2 seconds flat. You know, yeah, it takes a little know-how, takes a little practice, but the fact is that this is a moment when choice is really the key understanding. We are choosing to evolve. We are choosing to be in our beauty now. It's amazing. You can go from stress and worry into appreciation and gratitude in 2 seconds flat. You just do it. And when you really hold appreciation for everyone and everything, it changes your body chemistry. Instead of producing adrenaline, which is a fear chemistry, you start producing dopamine and serotonin and endorphins and the feel-good chemistry that we all love, just by constant appreciation. So why beat yourself up and basically go spinning into despair when you really have a choice to walk out and basically be the beauty that you've always been? So that is really our main message to everybody in a time like no other. This is a time to evolve. This is not the end of the world. This is not the end of humanity. This is the new beginning. We are literally going to create the future of the human species, but we're going to do it by choosing to put peace inside ourselves.
Beautiful.
So when everybody goes out and draws their little peace sign on the earth, take it to the next level. Take it to the level of, how am I making the choice to evolve? How am I choosing to come back into the alignment with the earth? How am I putting peace for the earth into the earth, giving her life, giving her what she needs most, and truly stepping onto that journey of evolution that Rennie just talked about? That's the mission here.
So grateful to be in company with you all in this great mission of life, of lifetimes probably. Yeah, it's been such a great joy and honor to talk with both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you everybody for who joined us out here in this digital world. My name is Dank Fart, the Pirate Poet. Fart is spelled P-H-A-R-T, is an acronym for Pretty Hot and Reasonably Talented. I've been here with the lovely Rennie Davis and Kirsten Liegmann of Foundation for Humanity. Yeah, ffh.org. You should for sure check out their meditations and get involved with their monthly webinars and just get deeper connected into this so that we can create the inner reality that will be that's integrated through this beautiful technology that we have been so blessed to be alive when it's coming into existence. Yeah, get out there and also perform my poem, Seed Bomb of Love, make a peace sign on the earth. But even more than that, you got to integrate that positive energetics into yourself so that you can be infusing it into the earth, as Rennie said. Thank you all so much for being here. It's such a great honor to be in the service in this life to this mission and all this greatness. Let's open up our whole beings and allow ourselves to slowly flourish. Thank you all so much. Many blessings be upon you.